Hello, I'm James Damiano. I produced this video to provide the public with a level of insight into the perception of judicial and political confusion. On September 15, 1995, I, James Damiano, filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against Bob Dylan in the United States Federal District Court. Dylan immediately applied to the court for a gag order designating all discovery materials produced during discovery as confidential, which was granted to him by the court on March 14, 1996 by Judge Joel B. Rosen. At the time, I was unsure what reason the court would or could possibly have for granting Bob Dylan a gag order, and have come to realize certain factors which I will elaborate on. The discovery materials included 48 hours of videotape depositions, blatant admissions of guilt by Bob Dylan's witnesses, 11 years of verified documents between James Damiano, CBS, Sony, and Dylan's entourage, credible scholarly music analysis, and many other issues of fact, including the absence of a Bob Dylan affidavit of denial and also Bob Dylan's absence of a deposition. By assessing certain key factors of this litigation, Bob Dylan's stealing of James Damiano's songs, and connecting all the dots, it's certainly possible to conclude that the court not only exhibited but went as far as to actually execute a partiality toward Bob Dylan. In fact, the court went as far as to deny James Damiano a trial when Judge Simandl dismissed the case in summary judgment, as he disregarded 50 hours of videotape depositions that revealed Bob Dylan's actual theft of James Damiano's songs. Perhaps the most incriminating factor regarding the court's partiality toward Bob Dylan is the documented and substantiated 29-year gag order against James Damiano. It is, however, plain and simple that Bob Dylan's gag order on James Damiano forms the basis of the court's partiality toward Bob Dylan. Now, after 29 years, I realize that one purpose for the court's gag order was to ensure that my movie, Bob Dylan's Stealing of James Damiano's Songs, would never be produced. Within the last 29 years, there were movie companies that were interested in producing my movie, Bob Dylan's Stealing of James Damiano's Songs. One of them, a professional company, assessed that the movie would have netted approximately $214 million. My share would be 20% of the net profit, $40 million, after the movie was released, and a $3 million check up front. The movie company agreed to proceed with the production of the movie, with the stipulation that the confidentiality order, the gag order, was lifted by the court. Although I, James Damiano, have continuously pleaded with the court over the years to lift the gag order, it still, to this day, June 5th, 2025, remains in effect, despite it being 29-year after-the-fact litigation order that strives to avoid transparency. The order also attempts to diminish James Damiano's credibility to the public. Anyone searching the case would probably come across the fact that I, James Damiano, have been held in contempt 3 times for violating the gag order by posting deposition materials on the internet. These depositions were incriminating to Bob Dylan, yet the court still held me in contempt, which is ludicrous and unlawful. So, to reiterate, the main point is that for a period of 29 years, the court has documented to the record of the court its partiality toward Bob Dylan, leaving the court no choice but to void all rulings in the lawsuit for the fraud upon the court it has committed.